Alright, boys and girls, this is part one for Guild versus Guild Wars. I will have to do a second one as I've already done my battle for the day. Guild versus Guild is important. It is about a month-long battle. We get gems, rankings, and other stuff out of it. And it's just something fun that we get to do, and it's kind of hard to explain. It's just a lot of fun to do, but it's very important that everybody participate. Okay? So when you open it up, the first thing you're going to see is your home screen. Sometimes this changes a little bit. I'm going to move this out of the way. Because if you go back to previous battle, sometimes when you open it up, this is what it'll look like. And then you just exit out of this, and then it takes you back to this screen. If it says you have battle 1 of 1, you'll hit battle now, and that's what takes you in the battle. The first thing you want to do is set up your defenders. I know not everyone's going to have a defense this high. Trust me, this is taking me a very long time to get a defense this high. So what you're looking for your defense are what are called wardens. They're going to have that W on the card. If you tap on this, it brings you up to your warden screen. I know a lot of you have these hammers in your inventory and you're like, what the hell are they for? This is what these hammers are for. The hammers increase your defense. I don't care what type of hammer it is. It could be a 1-star up to a 6-star. Take your strongest hammer and put it on your Guild versus Guild defender team. The next thing you want to look for is if you have multiple wardens, you need to find out what their skills are. Tap on your card. This one says it's a warden. And look at what his skills are. Defender skill is flatline 9. Almost every warden, when it hits a 6-star, is going to have a 9 defender skill. The nice thing about that is that most of your cards that you're going to go in fighting with only have a 6 counter skill, which means it's a 90% chance you're going to put this buff on them, and they only have a 10% chance of not getting this buff put on them. Some of these skills to you don't sound like they're that important, but like flatline, okay, so it really doesn't hurt them, but if for any reason they die and they have one of the revive skills that brings them back to life, the second chance skill that some of the cards and even some of the special relics have, well, it automatically will, once they use their skills, reset all their meters back to 0, and they are basically locked in and not able to do anything. This right there pisses a lot of people off. Fear. Fear is one that really drives people nuts because it randomly, if it lets me pick my card, do it this way. Fear, because basically it just randomly, no matter what, just randomly resets people's skills back to 0. You never know which one it's going to be. It's completely random, and it is a pain in the butt. Gem silence, basically, you can't use any type of a skill that will upgrade your gems. It's automatically locked out. So if they're going to try to make power gems, can't do it. If they're going to try to put gems on the board, can't do it. This was just a really strong warden. Her skill isn't great, but it's effective. Basically, it turns a portion of the damage it heals and heals her. So it makes it a little bit harder to kill her unless they do a very powerful hit. And then Judgment, every time they try to do heal, this works great if you have an auto healer on your team, because if you have a particular card that just automatically heals every time you hit, well, you're automatically taking damage plus every time this one hits you. So these are the ones I have set up. Eventually I'm going to go to an all dark team, and I'm going to start working on making these mauls all dark hammer mauls, which makes them even stronger, but this is going to be something further on down the line. So the first thing you do is set up your GVG team, your Guild versus Guild team. Make them as strong as you can. If you do not have wardens, or your wardens are just not leveled up yet and you're still working on it, and I understand that it takes time to evolve wardens. These cards are not easy to evolve. They're really, really not. Use your highest event card that you have. It's better than nothing. You can still use the hammer. Just get the event card on there and get something for defense, because as of right now you're going to get mowed over and you have no chance for defense. Okay. Once you have your defender team, then it's time for you to select someone to attack. That's when you hit battle now. So you look at these, and then what you're going to see is you're going to see each person that you have the option to, what their cards are. The color obviously is their affinity. The W tells you it's a warden. If there's nothing next to it, as you can see for this second person, they're only using one warden. The rest of them are all event cards. And then the little icon next to it is their counter skill. The other one that a lot of people are using, and I'd like to show you guys, is this top one, Prior 1 Flame. If you look to the far right, he has a white card that's a warden. This one's called the Earth Mother. That little shoe is called Alchemy. A lot of people are using that. That skill does not hurt you, but if a lot of people will use a turn delayer in their team to reset or extend the counter attack, or the attacker make their clock set back further. They're supposed to attack you every turn. A turn delayer will actually set them back 1 or 2 turns. Well, that Alchemy prevents you from doing that. So when you start getting into the really, really high level people who have 50, 60, 70, 80 plus thousand on their defense, they're using Flatline and Alchemy cards for their defense, because basically it prevents you from being able to turn delay, and it prevents you from being able to revive. That is where everybody's going with their defenders. So those are good cards to have if you ever come across them. The reason why some of these are getting so high on defense are the hammers. The hammers offer high defense. The next thing we'll talk about is and as you can see I cannot attack because I've already done mine, is your attacker team. So basically, like I said, you'll scroll through here, you'll find someone that will be equivalent to your skill set. The lower skill you are, the lower you want to go. Don't bite off more than you can chew. A kill is a kill, but at the same time, the more kills you can get, the better. These all down here are ones that have already been mowed through. I cannot remember which one it is the one I went through. It was one of these two right here is the one I went through. Okay, so we'll back out of this, and then I'll show you kind of an idea of what I have. I actually have 2 Guild versus Guild attacker teams. I think I turned one of them off. Yeah, I sure did. Okay, so this is the current one I'm using right now. We'll go over what it is, and I'll kind of explain to you why I have what I have. So we'll start with the leader, and I'll scroll back and forth. So this is a rewards card. If you guys start getting higher up in the rewards program, you'll start getting these cards with a D on them. They're called Dragoons. These cards are basically specifically set up for Guild versus Guild. It even says 350% damage increase, 425% hit point increase, and 535% recovery increase for all water heroes in Guild versus Guild attack. It also takes and generates your intensity and increases it by 7% during guild versus guild attacks. Wow. So, this particular card is specifically designed for a guild versus guild attack. It's only a 5-star because Dragoons suck to evolve. Very, very much so. Eventually, someday when I can do the Spire, I'll get him, but till then, not worry about it. Okay, then we'll go from left to right. This is an old card I have. He's now an event card. He'll go back to a ×4 when this event's over with. But I have him for one reason, because he is a turn delayer. He adds 2 turns, in this case it's called Petrify, to the enemy. So basically he resets the clock. Only takes 9 gems to charge him. He does have a 3-turn cooldown. I have another card that is a 20-gem charge up, 1-turn cooldown, but then I don't get to use these 3 ancient relics which help put gems on the board. So I'm going with this one right now. Seems to be working pretty good. I'm using her for her healing ability and her flat out raw power, because these are the new style cards that are very, very, very powerful. And she also is a gem spawner. Very low charge rate. Most of these cards are 9 gem charge rates. She's only 6. These new ones are 6. That's very, very nice. So using her, of course, the Dragoon. Him again, very low charge rate, but he also adds a armor break. Plus, he's a power gem creator. So that is another good one to have. So that's why he's here. And then Quick Draw, Josephine Quick Draw. She's here for 2 reasons. She is a gem spawner. Every time she attacks, she creates gems. And she creates power gems. And if worse comes to worse, if you know you're going to get hit and hit hard, you activate her battle skill and you become immune. And after you get hit, you get 5% recovery plus an additional 2 for every human intensity. So she automatically, as she hits, creates 10. Plus her relic is creating 5. Plus an additional 7% on top of that. So by the time it's all said and done, she's probably going to give you an additional, I'd say by the last 2 players, depending on how many rounds it's taking you, she can do anywhere to 15 to 25% increase for health that she's going to revive you. And not to mention, she's going to give you a 25% damage reduction for 3 turns after she's had that turned on. So she's a very nice little card to have. She is the ultra rare. Her twin, which is the standard event card, does very, very similar. She just the regular one, which is half-hearted Josephine, just creates gems. No power gems, just gems. She doesn't reduce damage by 25% for 3 turns, but she does the same healing ability. So if you have her, which she's currently available in the in a pack for 300 gems, she'll take you a little bit of dungeon coins to evolve up to a 6-star. But definitely a thought. If you buy enough of the pack, hopefully you're able to get the relic to go with it. With enough relics, you're going to be able to put a whole bunch of stuff on the board and actually do some major damage. I get that other relic turned up. I'm probably going to take one of these cobalts off and put the honored relic on here. So this is what I'm using right now for Guild versus Guild. I do have a dark version of this. I wish I would have left up. I'm kind of running out of room and wish they'd give me more pages. The other Dragoon that I use is this one. He was a reward. This one is a 6-star. He creates 6 Power Gem 1s, and if there's more than 4 Power Gem 4s on the board, it doubles, so I can have up to 12 Power Gem 1s, plus he heals, so that's a bonus. And then he dispels blind, which is nice. And I just pair him up with some of my more powerful dark cards. My only problem is I don't have a card that's a dark turn delayer. And so this is a mow and pray that you can get through a one-time deck, which is why I'm kind of using the blue one now. Sort of giving me a little bit more of an edge with the turn delayer. The other turn delayer I have, which you guys can currently get in the event store for, I think he wasn't very many coins. And then it just takes a little bit to evolve him up. It's not very much at all. Is this little gentleman. So, attacks enemy for 260%. Who cares? Slows for 2 turns. 20 gem recharge, 1 turn cooldown. Which means as long as you can keep 20 gems on the board, you can continuously add 2 to his delay. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. He's a dwarf. So unfortunately I don't have any relics for a dwarf. But again, something to think about. You're not using him for power. You're using him for the turn delay. A lot of your very, very high skill set level people are using a card very similar to this. A lot of them are using this particular card for the turn delay, because he has a very low cooldown. When it comes time later this evening to actually do a guild versus guild fight, I'll show you how to actually do a fight. I'll do a higher level one and give you guys a rundown on how to do it. Alright? So, that is guild versus guild. Remember, a kill's a kill. Just do the best you can.